assignment. The title of that small clipping was Let Her Die. And a British reporter, Emily Buchanan, she came from America and she did a survey on female infanticides, and India happens to have the maximum number. And according to her, every day, more than 3,000 fetuses are being aborted on being identified that they are females. 3,000 fetuses in our mother country. And if you multiply this by 365, more than 1 million fetuses on being recognized that they are female are being aborted. Why don't you read it in the headlines in our papers? Let the papers give it on the front page every day until this female infanticide is stopped. And according to the Tamil Nadu government report, out of the live births of female children, out of 10, 4 are put to death. 4 are put to death. It had to be a Britisher to come and tell us Indians what's the rate of female infanticide in our country. Now coming to the point, what does Quran speak about female infanticide? She cannot quote any verse. I challenge her to quote any verse from the Quran which says female children should be put to death. In fact, if you read Surah Takwir, see, I'm going with quotation. Sasin Nasreen only says Quran says that, Quran says this. How can a layman who has not read the Quran, or even if he has read the Quran, where will he find which verse says this, what she's saying? So you have to take it for granted. Give benefit of doubt that the Quran does say that the sun rotates around the earth, or you have to agree that it believes in female infanticide. If you read the Quran in Surah Takwir, chapter number 81, verse number 8 and 9, it says that when the female child, when she's buried alive, and when she cries out, for what crime has she been killed? On the day of judgment, she'll cry out, for what crime she has been killed. So female infanticide has been completely forbidden in Islam. In fact, all sorts of female infanticides and killing of children has been prohibited. It's mentioned in Quran, in Surah Al-Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 31, as well as in Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 1. It says, kill not your children for want of sustenance. It is Allah who will provide you and your children for sustenance. In fact, Quran rebukes the thought of a person rejoicing on the birth of a male child and his face being sad on the birth of a female child. It's mentioned in Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 58 and 59. Hope that answers the question, brother.
Father Pereira wants to say something on this particular issue.
I just want to make a general, I think is important at this stage. You often hear people say, oh, the Quran says this, which is an obscurantist thing. Oh, Hinduism says that, which is against progress. Oh, you can prove these things from the Bible and so on. Be very careful, firstly, when you hear things. Often these are vague statements made, as Dr. Naik has pointed very clearly, which have no reference at all. That's the first thing. Secondly, often religious scriptures are used by politicians and are used by obscurantists to support their own prejudices. Classic instance of racism and the Bible. You know that a lot of Western Christianity through the centuries has been racist, and they have used the Bible to defend it. It's absolutely false, but here it is politics which comes to use religion for its own purposes. Remember what I said at the beginning. Every religion has a liberative element which can emancipate you, but can also oppress you, depending on how these things have been twisted. So I make this general comment because often you hear statements like this, and then they will blame, okay, Muslims, see, Muslims, what else? Or Christians, of course, Christians, or Hindus like this, or Sikhs, whatever. Be very careful, because this is the typical kind of prejudice, actually, which only, as it were, creates turbulence and does not help to clear any doubts.
More questions? Yeah, please.
Ista Settlevat from Communalism Combat, Dr. Zakir Naik. Wanted to ask him whether he considers the attack on Dr. Bedar for saying that Hindus are not kafirs but murtads by, he was threatened with his life. Was that a fundamentalist attack on his life and freedom of expression or not?
Please could you repeat the question? Please could you repeat the question? Dr. Veda.
Dr. Veda.
Dr.
Dr.
Bedar.
Bedar of the Khudabaksh Library was threatened with his life. His freedom of expression curved when he said that Hindus are not kafirs but murtad.
Sister has posed the question that the person, Mr. Bedar, who said that Hindus are not kafirs and they are murtads. Therefore, is it right that the fundamentalist, they threatened his life? Is that a curb of freedom of expression or not? And life. Again, 2-3 questions. Regarding the first part, that whatever that Mr. Bedar said, that Hindus are not kafirs, but they are murtads, does not have any base, because he may not be well versed in the Arabic language. What is the meaning of kafir? I told you that kafir means a person who conceals the truth or rejects the truth. It does not mean that a kafir has to be a Hindu. He can be a Hindu, he may not be a Hindu. I will come to the complete answer. So only if I justify the meaning can I justify my answer, sister. If I don't justify the meaning, my answer will have no relevance. Because Quran always says, Qul hatu burhanakum, produce your proof. While giving the answer, give your proof. Without proof, I don't give comments. So firstly, kafir does not mean a Hindu. It may be a Hindu, may not be a Hindu. And what is the meaning of murtad? Murtad is a Muslim who, after he has accepted the faith, he converts to another faith. That's called a murtad. So Mr. Bedar's explanation has got no relevance at all. Neither is it correct literally. It does not have neither a head nor a tail. Regarding whether those Muslim people, first, were they fundamentalists or not, I don't know. Were they right in putting a death sentence? I would say without proof, no one has the right to put a death sentence. If they gave an opportunity to clarify himself, and if he falters, or if he had abused the Quran, then it's a different question. If he was not able to clear, depending upon what proof did Dr. Bedar give to those Muslim students. Otherwise, say that without any proof, if those Muslims have called for his death, it is completely wrong. It's against Islam. Hope that answers the question, sister. Fine, you can ask me a question. I thought my answer was over. The second question, I'll give a second answer. If it's based on truth, does a person have a right to pass a death sentence? It is like you asking me if the Indian government has proof that a person who has told the secrets of the country, of the army, of the navy, of the air force, has told to somebody else, and if he's caught and it's proved that he actually betrayed the country, the Indian government will punish with proof. Same way, if there is proof that he has betrayed or spoken something wrong, if there's proof, then I feel he requires punishment. Hope that answers the question. That's the second part of the question. Is a death sentence, or if you say first part, no problem. Can you give death sentence? See, every crime, the punishment given are various. Like for example, if you read in the trains, if you pull the chain without any reason, 500 rupees fine and 3 months imprisonment. So if you're caught, one judge may give you 500 fine, the other judge may give you 500 fine and 1 month. Some judge may give you only 3 months, some judge may give you both. The punishment differs from each judge to each judge. Regarding what does religious fundamentalism talk about if someone blasphemes, we haven't used that word, but I'm using it. Someone blasphemes, what does the Quran say? I'll quote the Quran. The Quran in Surah Maida, chapter number 5, verse number 33 states that the punishment for anyone who wages war against Allah, against God Almighty, and His Messenger, or strives, does jihad, strives with might and main, to create mischief in the land, his punishment is either execution, or crucifixion, or chopping off of limbs of the opposite side, or exile. This is the law given in one verse of the Quran. Other verses say that if possible, you speak with Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal mau'izatil hasna wajadilhum billati ya ahsan. It is said in Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 125. Invite all to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them, and debate with them, and reason with them in ways that are best